everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr and today is Wednesday. Now this is part 2 of my smoked beer series that I'm doing this week. On Monday we did the O'Fallon Whiskey Barrel Smoked Porter, so if you missed that one, go back onto my website and check it out. But this next one I've really been excited to try. I've seen it on numerous best of lists in the smoked beer category. And it is the Alaskan Smoked Porter. And this comes from, believe it or not, Alaska. So, I've got a press kit here and it gives, a pretty good amount of information. Talks about the different sizes of bottles that it comes in, all the awards that it's won, kind of a bit of a history. Talks about how really smoked beers, or as they're called in Germany, Rausch beers, really there weren't any smoked porters or smoked beers, I should say, in the United States until they started this beer in, I think it was, 1988. So it clocks in right at 6.5%, so not a huge beer, but about the traditional alcohol by volume for percentage for a porter. But anyway, I've been really excited to try this one again. This is one of those beers that I see in magazines like Draft Magazine, which I talk about a lot, and I'm not going to lie to you, I really try to search out a lot of the beers that they have on their top 25 beers of the year. It's kind of a quest for me to really try those great beers to see how they taste. Most of them I can't get, but I also do it because the first year I got that magazine, which I think was a couple of years ago, I realized that I'd only maybe had less than maybe 3 to 5 of them. So now that I'm really into craft beer, I've kind of been making it I guess a goal every year to search out a lot of those beers. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to digging in on this one. Again, this is the Alaskan Smoked Porter. So very traditional color. In fact, it's almost identical in color to the O'Fallon Whiskey Barrel Smoked Porter we reviewed on Monday. I would say it's a little bit darker. It's got a really dark, and I've used this reference before, but like a cherry Dr. Pepper color, so you can see that ruby red color when you hold it up to the light. The head on this one, though, is a lot nicer than the one we had the other day. This one's got a lot tighter bubbles. It's more of a hazelnut color, which I really like. I think a toasted hazelnut colored head really is a nice looking head. Now, not a whole lot, and I poured it, fairly rough, so maybe about a finger's worth of head, and I'm sure if I kept pouring it up this tulip glass, it would just expand and expand and expand. But the truth is I like to get in there and get my nose in there and smell it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I get smoke right away, obviously. Really like the smoke on this one, though. It doesn't smell so much like, a lot of the other smoked beers I've had. This one really smells like a nice, fall time, what's the word I'm looking for, like a campsite. When you go into a campsite the next day and all that wood's been burned for a fire, it really kind of has that smell and it gets into your clothes. Let's see. I'm getting a very small amount of coffee. There's really not a whole lot of chocolate. I would say mostly what I'm getting out of here is smoke. But now the smoke is not just beating me in the face. I have had some of those German Rausch beers where you smell them and you almost are taken aback by how much smoke comes out of those. This is just a subtle amount of smoke and smelling really nice. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and try it because I'm pretty pumped. So here we go. Yeah, okay, so this is more along the lines of what I was hoping to get out of the last beer that we shared together. There is a lot more of a roastiness in there, so not a strong amount of coffee, but it's kind of that same amount of bitterness that you would get from a coffee or an espresso. You can kind of feel it on the sides of your tongue. Really like the smoke component in this. Now, there are different kinds of woods you could use to smoke. I'm not sure if they, let me see if they even say, I didn't see what kind of wood they used. But I think that's probably one of the things that I like about this beer more than maybe the handful of other smoked beers that I've had. It's just the quality of the smoke, the quality of the wood that went into smoking this beer. I think the real winner for this beer is you take a drink and you kind of have your first impression and it goes down and you think, oh, it's pretty nice. But once you sit and just kind of reflect and let it, dissipate on your palate, really the aftertaste on this beer is what is so phenomenal. I think, and that's kind of interesting to me. It's the flavors are the greatest when you're not actually drinking it. That's not to say it's not enjoyable when you do, but if this was a beer I could get all the time, I think I would constantly have about 2 or 3 of these on hand. If I'm ever in the mood for something smoky, which from time to time I am, obviously more so in the winter months than now, which it's finally starting to get a little bit nicer here around Kansas City. But yeah, I could see drinking a whole lot of this beer. Very, very nice. I like the word robust when it comes to beer, and this beer is, slightly more robust than a lot of the others that I've had. Not maybe quite as, I guess bitter as I would like, but, it is very soft, it is very subtle. Anyway, I don't know what else to say other than I'll go ahead and score it for you. I'm going to probably go about, I'll say maybe 92 on this one. It's a lot nicer than some that I've had, though I'm still really kind of waiting for, that porter, that smoky porter that's really going to kind of, take my palate, and really give it a good working over. And you know what? Maybe a porter won't ever do that. Who knows? But well, anyway, guys, thanks a lot for coming back to part 2 of the smoked beer series. Really appreciate you guys following. Again, go to my website, thehopry.com. Let me know what your favorite smoked beer is. The other day I made a joke about, what's your favorite cigarette? What do you smoke? Hey, let me know what kind of cigarettes you smoke. That's fine. I don't care. Cigarettes and beer go great together. So, well, anyway, guys, thanks a lot. My name is Mark Starr. We'll see you later.